Okay, let's see, 9:03. All right, good morning, everybody. I guess we can go ahead and get started. I'm absolutely thrilled to be here with you all for our first webinar for the transactional API, and formerly known as Mandrill, still known as Mandrill on the docs. But John and I are super pumped to be here with you today. Intuit is investing heavily in our transactional API. So hence we are starting this office hours kind of series, I'll call it, every month. I think John, myself, and our team will be hosting a webinar, and it'll be something similar to this. And what we want to do ultimately is answer any questions you have and really help you get to know the product. If you're somebody who's used Mandrill in the past years or somebody who is considering using it, this is exactly where you need to be. We want to show you the product and hopefully steer these conversations in the direction that helps you succeed and accomplish your goals. So with that said, my name is Brad Hudson. I'm a solutions engineer here at Intuit. I did come over with the Mailchimp acquisition though, so I have been working. I worked with Mailchimp for about 5 years, and then we were acquired. And so Mandrill is near and dear to my heart, along with John, who's worked on it for a long time. He'll introduce himself shortly. But we are just super excited to be here with you all. And with that said, John, why don't you introduce yourself as well?
Yeah. Hey, everyone. I'm John. I have been working with Mailchimp for about 10 years now, and most of my time has been on this transactional API in some way, shape, or form. Um, like Brad said, we're recently kind of having this investment, this new overhaul, adding a bunch of new features, adding a refresh UI, a bunch of fun stuff to show off, and a lot more cool stuff to come. So we're really excited that you're here to learn more.
Yeah, thanks, John. So with that said, today our agenda is we're going to kind of take you through the product in case anybody hasn't seen it in a while. I know that some people who registered for this kind of expressed, hey, would love to just see what's going on. We've launched a few new things such as our SMS API. And so we're going to talk about that for just a moment. But we're also releasing some new guides, YouTube videos on how to use the API. So really what we want to do is we're investing in just anything that helps you succeed. So today we're going to hopefully show you the product, talk about some of the changes, some of the ways that we want to help you, and hear if we're doing the right thing. And ultimately, if anybody has questions, feel free to shoot those in the chat and we will get to those at the end. But with that said, John, would love to just jump into a quick overview of where we're at with the app, if you would like to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'm going to start off with the SMS endpoint that we've added because I think once we start showing that off, we'll naturally be able to see the UI refresh and some other cool stuff that we're doing. So let me take over a screen share here real quick. Cool. So I'm starting off here logged into my Mailchimp account, one of our like internal test Mailchimp accounts. That's a brand called Big Mood Spa, and we have our SMS already set up here. So the first couple of things I'll go over kind of from a setup and then usage standpoint is when you want to use SMS, we use it for both marketing and for transactional. Although there's two different ways you send those different types of messages, you're using the same phone number, the same like program as we call it. So when you go through the program setup, you tell us what country you want to send to. We give you a number that says this number can send to contacts in that country. If you need multi-country, we'll assign you a different number that can send to contacts in that country. But it is kind of strictly locked to like this phone number can send to this country, this phone number can only send to this country. And if you try to send to recipients that don't match that country, it's gonna fail. We're gonna bounce it back. Um, so the process can take a couple days to get going. Once you fill out the form, you tell us all your information about you, tell us what countries you want to send to. Then there's like a sometimes up to 2 or 3 day sort of like waiting process, approval process that has to go through. And once you have that, you have your program set up. You're ready to start sending. So if you're sending marketing SMS, this is where you do it in Mailchimp. You log into your account. You go to SMS here. You point it at a specific audience. You set up your template. You do all that kind of stuff. It's all done here in the UI. Everything is very kind of done for you here. Uh, if you want to send SMS transactionally, it's a little bit differently. You're doing it with our API, just like you're doing with email already if you're using Mandrill. Otherwise, I can point you at our docs if you're not using it yet, and you can see more of kind of how you integrate the API into your code. Um, but before we get into that, we have to grab a couple things from here. The one thing that you're going to need from your MailChimp side here, once you have your program set up, is your actual sending number. So if you're looking at your account here, if you go into settings, I think it's under settings and then account details. We have any of sending in numbers that you already have set up. We can copy and paste it. We're going to use that in our API call. The reason we do that is because we have that multi-country. You can send from different numbers to different countries. You provide us the number that you want to send from. Oh, great. I was logged in for too long and didn't refresh. So here's my messaging plan. Here's my number that I can send to contacts in the US. So we know that it's active. I'm going to copy that number and I'll use that in my API calls. Once we do that, we can log into Mandrill. We go to automations and transactional on the left nav here, and I can click launch app to end up here in our new refreshed UI version of Mailchimp Transactional here. Apologies, you'll hear me say Mandrill and Transactional interchangeably. I cannot get it out of my head that it's not called Mandrill all the time. We land on the dashboard here and we see a bunch of high level overview stats. Again, key difference here is there's nowhere in this UI to actually send your messages. This is really just for reporting. So you integrate the API into your code, into your website, you send all your messages, and then you can log in here to see all your reports. We can see open and click data, delivery rates, etc., for both email and SMS together. So um, if you're looking at these high level stats, a really quick way to filter out whether you want to see just SMS or just email, because by default we're showing everything, is use this little filter by, and we're tagging everything automatically with the channel you're sending from. And actually, a little behind the scenes look, the channel email isn't fully working yet. It's like tagging some as email and not all. But if you look at channel SMS, you're going to see everything that you've sent SMS for that time period. So from this account, I've only sent 2 SMS in the last 7 days. If I move it back to like 30, I've sent more. I've sent like 8. And I can see open and click rates here. It's not a very pretty graph because I don't have a lot of stats going. But if I want to see more details, I can go into the outbound activity here. And this is where I can see things like who I sent from, who I sent to, again, for both email and SMS, kind of all in line here. Under the like subject column, we have the subject for all your emails, but then we also have the actual text of your SMS messages. And if I want to see even more details, I can click on where it says view content, and I'll get a pop-up that shows me the actual message content and a few other little details that you can kind of see other places as well. Same thing for emails. If I click on view content on one of my emails, I'll get the full HTML email here that was sent. So again, key difference there. Marketing SMS is going to be all done within Mailchimp. Your transactional SMS is all done via our API. And you're going to see all your reports kind of in two different places right now. You're going to see them all. The marketing SMS is all going to be done in Mailchimp. Your transactional SMS all here in Mandrill. And I should note too that the reason why we have it separated like that is because there really are two like kind of distinct use cases for this. And legally, there's kind of some reasons why you need to have them separated a little bit. Um, Mainly reason is when there's marketing content in an SMS message or an email, there's certain like legal requirements where you have to have certain things set up, etc. When it comes to transactional email or transactional SMS, those are different requirements. We also send over a different infrastructure with email. So like we don't share the same exact sending servers and everything between our marketing and our transactional email. A couple interesting things to note too about our SMS API here is we automatically have a link shortener set up. You can see here I'll go back to the content here so you can see it a little bit more clearly. I sent in just www.mailchimp.com as my API call here, and we have an automatic link shortener. We do that because you're charged per not just per message, but per length of message. I think they break up each SMS message into chunks, and each chunk costs you like 1 credit per whatever chunk. And those costs are different per country. So there's all this complex sort of math that goes into figuring out how much each of your SMS messages is going to cost. But short messages like this typically cost 1 credit in the US. It can be more credits in other countries depending on your country. So if you have long URLs, especially if you're tracking all your own sort of, stuff in those URLs, they can get very lengthy. We will shorten those down to be as short as possible. That also allows us to use our click tracking. So I was able to click on that link in my SMS message. We register it as a click. We also, right now, since we can't technically register an open from a cell phone, we say it's an open if it's been clicked at least once. So somebody clicked on that message, we register that as an open and a click. And if I get multiple clicks, we'd show here how many clicks you got per message here. A couple other interesting things. I mentioned tags before. We automatically tag all of the SMS messages with the channel, but you can also use your own tags and your own custom metadata here, just like you do with email. So, for instance, this SMS message, I used appointment confirmation. If I click on, open and click on that. If I click on my tags, tag drop down here. If I do appointment confirmation, I can see all my messages that were tagged with that in the last, whatever, 7 days, 30 days. Oh, I thought I had some emails on this one too. I do. Okay, I do. Appointment confirmation. And did I click a different tag too? Nope, I thought I had emails too. That was looks like it was only an SMS. But anyway, you can have your same tags that will say I sent this many emails, this many SMS with this specific tag. You might want to separate them by the type that you're sending, like I said, appointment confirmation, or you might want to tag it with specific like sub brands you're using or something like that. And then custom metadata allows you to add specific values, like key value pairs per message. We use it in some of our internal accounts for like user IDs. So we can click on a user ID and see every single message that that person's received per that custom metadata. And then, of course, any reporting that you're generating here in Mandrill, if you are using like, for instance, like we have a reporting feature like this compare stats report or demographics reports, any of these stats that you set up, if you export your activity, if you use the API to pull down reports, we will show SMS and email like inline by default. And then you can also usually optionally sort by that channel as well. So we can create like a report that says, just show me all my SMS data or just show me all my email data. And then if you want to, you can then say only with these tags or only with this custom metadata range. Um, a couple other interesting things to note about our UI refresh here. We made it look a little bit more like Mailchimp because it had not been updated, I think, in like 12 or 13 years with like a brand new fresh coat of paint. Some people say don't fix what's not broken, but like I think it was time for us to have a nice fresh coat of paint here. The one thing I really want to call out is we've kind of more prominently featured our like help and give feedback button here. The give feedback button is new. We really want to hear feedback on the product, not just what is working, but also what is not working, of course. Like if you have any suggestions, if you have things you want to see, if you have things that aren't working, or you think things that are working well, please leave feedback. Like now more than ever, our leadership and our company cares about getting feedback from our users on this product so we can make it better. We have like a cool roadmap that we are planning, but like enough feedback on one specific topic will completely veer that roadmap into working on what the users care about. So please leave feedback as many times as you have it. So um, cool. I think that's a good walkthrough of the UI refresh
Yeah,
of
that's
the
awesome.
SMS product. We also a couple things I can call out on our docs. We added a what we call a guide. It's like a walkthrough of sending your first SMS. So just like I kind of briefly ran over, this will kind of go into a little bit more detail about what you need, creating an API key, making sure you have your program set up, um, sending your first SMS, including like the actual structure of your API call here. So you can, use this here to make a curl, hit the endpoint for the first time, send your first message. It's also worth noting here, I don't think we call it out specifically in this guide. You can use a test key. If you create a test key, you're not charged for the messages. They act exactly like you sent it, but it doesn't actually send to your phone, and therefore you're not actually charged. But it will hit the API just like you normally would. You'll see reporting and stuff in test mode. Um, and we've also added a couple of other I think we put it under transactional SMS under the documentation. This goes over all of the specific details about the API. So, what kind of things you can use it for, some of those differences we talked about between the marketing and the transactional SMS, the consent field. Long story short, here you have to pass us the consent type that you've gathered from your contacts in each API call. How we handle unsubscribes, which is pretty straightforward. If the user replies with stop, we don't allow you to send to that user again. And then some more details about, the reporting and analytics and stuff like that. So documentation should be nice and updated to include all the SMS stuff. Again, if you see something that's missing or you want more clarification, use that give feedback button and we can look into it.
That's
Brad,
amazing.
anything else you think I should hit?
Did you show the settings? not sure if to show how to create an API key and everything. Did you
Sure.
just click
Let's.
that really quickly just to show the sending domains and all that one more time? Because yeah,
So
basically there's just all you need is an API key and maybe your email domain verified. So right here is where you'll do all of that. And I think it's just as simple as that, right, John?
yeah, as far as SMS goes, you have to. The big step is getting your program set up, like getting your actual sending number in Mailchimp. Once you have that, you have an API key, and then you can hit our API. Those are the two things you need: is like the from number and your API key. And same with email. He mentioned you have to have your sending domain set up as well. And once you have your sending domain set up and you have your API key, you can go ahead and use our API. So like here, for instance, we have bigmoodspa.com fully authenticated and ready to send. We create an API key, we hit the messages send endpoint, and we can start sending right away.
It's amazing. We can pause right there for just a second. Are there any questions about SMS or let's see, Omar says the IP can be dedicated from the API. So yes, we have dedicated IPs. John, I think that's under the account or settings section. If you want to pull back up, let's it go.
For
Let's,
email, you can request a dedicated IP. I believe it's under account and extras.
yep, down at the bottom there. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
You can add dedicated IPs for email sending. Um, if specifically, I mean, from the API, you can select your dedicated IP. If you have multiple, you can select which one you want to send with during the email. That's what we call like IP pools you can create, and you can choose which pool you want each email to go through.
Yeah, that's a great question, Omar. Any other questions about SMS, the platform as a whole? Hey, John, that was amazing. Thank you for walking us through that. Oh, wait, let's see. Oh, yeah. Looks like Tad. Are transactional email and SMS always distinct calls, or can you send a single email that also goes out as an SMS?
That's
Or
a
are
great
are
question
these?
too. Right now, they're distinct calls. We have a send endpoint and we have a send SMS endpoint, and one is for email, one's for SMS. We have been working on, and who knows how far off it is. We've been working on like an omni-channel endpoint where you can say in one API call, pass different types of messages. So, for instance, right now it's email and SMS. Um, you could pass in one API call, and then depending on, say, like user preference or something like that, they have it checked in their system. They only want to receive email. That only sends the email. So it's like in the planning sort of to have one endpoint that will do multiple types all at once, but right now it's two separate endpoints.
Yeah, that's a really great question, though. Omar followed up as well, says can be also be for webhooks, so the dedicated IPs. I think that's right, right? As long as you're using, I think, our inbound system, right, John? Then the
I
webhook.
should have mentioned too. I'll steal back the screen share for just one
Yeah,
second.
yeah.
We have SMS data will also send to webhooks. So if you go into your account and you set up let's go over to the settings here. If you set up a webhook and you have that webhook set up for SMS events, I'll show you like right now we have email events and SMS events. So if I want to click on all of these here for SMS, then my webhook that I create here will only receive all the email or all the SMS events and no email events. So I can get all the information I want. If I only want it to show me when one is like sent, I just check that box. We really need to have a check all and uncheck all now that I'm doing this live. Um, so you click on messages sent, you save this webhook, and then every time you send a message and we get confirmation that it's sent, uh, we hit that webhook with information with the details of that send. Same we do as email events. We have the SMS events now as well.
Awesome. Really good questions. Okay, cool. Oh, let's see. We already have subscription for email service. To add SMS services at a separate subscription.
All you have to do if you're already using Mailchimp or Mandrill for email, you have to be on the Essentials plan for Mailchimp. So as long as you're on the Essentials plan, you can start using SMS. You'll just go into your SMS settings here, or the SMS on the left nav. And if you don't have it already, it says click here to sign up or get started. And once you get started with that, once you set up your program, you can start sending right away. You just have to buy credits. I think I mentioned it before, but the credits pool is shared also. So the credits that you buy, I think you can buy, I think you start with 1,000 at a time. That's shared between your transactional and your marketing SMS. So if you decide you want to send both, if you want to send a bunch of marketing SMS and transactional, shares from that same pool. So only one like billing event for that. But yeah, as long as you're on essentials or standard or premium, the higher tiers get it, of course, too. You can use SMS.
Awesome. Great questions. If there's nothing else, we're going to just quickly show. So, kind of mentioned in the beginning, along with improving the product, we want to improve how we're helping you all. So that includes we're improving our SDKs. That's something that we're slated for this quarter, and along with that, we are adding more to our GitHubs. So let me figure out which. So there's a couple of different GitHub repositories that you need to be familiar with here. So we have our Mailchimp, github.com/Mailchimp, and this is where you'll find all of our available SDKs. So Python, Ruby, Node, PHP. And then we recently, our team developed under the Intuit developer organization a transactional node samples repository. Um, and let's see. Omar, did you have another question? Definitely throw it in the chat if you think of anything else. Um, as far as this goes, though, so our team we took the Node SDK that I showed in the Mailchimp organization, and we basically created a bunch of little use cases here. So you could clone this repository to kind of do what John's saying. We don't have SMS in here yet, but this will show you how easy it is to get up and running with email. So down here you'll see we have sending an email to a single recipient, sending an email with merge tags, attachments, templates, sending an email using that template. And then we have something we're calling kitchen sink all features. And as you kind of drill into each one of these, I'll give you a quick little highlight here. You'll kind of see where, reminder, this is in JavaScript, but you'll be able to see here where we're including our SDK using our transactional API key. And you'll see where we're building the message. Now, obviously using AI and all of that, you could probably take this and just ask it to give you the postman or the curl, but also our docs have a lot of that information as well. But what this repo is intended to do is something that you can clone and immediately use. All you have to do is provide an ENV with your API key and your sending domain, and we will fire that off for you. I also created a YouTube video over on our Intuit Developer YouTube channel, and this walks through. This is the repo. It's going to be under. Let me mute that. I clone the repo, add an API key, and call every script that's in this repository. So we're doing all of this in an effort to kind of show you how easy it is to use Mandrill and our transactional API as a whole. So if this is helpful, would love if you all took a quick glance at it, see what's missing. If there's something, obviously SMS, since that's kind of new, we'll add that to the repository. But anything else that you'd like to see in these, we would love to hear about that. Let me see. So just a few other things to note here. So John kind of touched on the documentation website. This is where you'll find all the API reference, the guides that he was mentioning. Let's see what else we had here. Yeah, these are those. And then, yeah, I think that kind of covers everything that we're doing, but we're doing as much as we can possible to make it as easy for you all to get going. Let's see, we have one more question. Oh, post a link to that Git repo. Absolutely. Let me see here. Throw this in the chat. Yeah, so right there. And if that's helpful, we're going to be creating, probably mirroring that repo for all of the SDKs just to make it easy for anybody who's using the other ones as well. But whatever you'd like to see, if you're like struggling with something, or if you're like, hey, I'm using a different platform that's not Mandrill and I'm struggling to accomplish X, Y, and Z, John and I would love to solve that for you, show you how to do it inside of the Intuit, our transactional API. Also wanted to highlight a few of our just stats for you all. So we have a delivery rate of 99%. So we're really proud of that. We also, because Mailchimp as a whole, we're on such good infrastructure, our uptime is 99.99%. And we have the capabilities of sending 157 billion emails per month. So, John mentioned we have a lot of physical servers that are sending all of these awesome emails and SMS every month. And our median delivery speed is less than 1 second. So I know some people filled out some questions asking if we could provide a few statistics. So we're doing our best. We have a lot of great engineers who are making sure that all of this runs flawlessly. With that said, the last note I guess I wanted to say is that we're going to try to do these office hours about once a month, and zero pressure to join them, obviously. But we would anything that you want to see or answers that you need, John and I are going to make sure that we get them answered here. Hey Holly, so you said, is there a simple way to get today's date to enter into a Mailchimp audience field, like using a webhook to indicate the date transactional email was sent to a contact? All right, let me see. Simple way to get today's date. I think so. Those webhooks, John, that you showed, I think if a message is sent, I imagine that the date comes back for when that was fired. And if you're meaning your Mailchimp audience field, that might require a separate API call. And so that would actually, here, let me pull back up.
Yeah, the quick answer is there's not a simple way to do it, but there is definitely a way to do it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of you on the call are developers or are working with developers. And so while this is a Mandrill call or webinar, our Mailchimp API is something that I work with our integrations over here. And so the way we would accomplish that is we have a list audience endpoint, and inside of here there is a members endpoint. And this is where we would probably patch the member. So you would have list ID, members, subscriber hash, and in here you can patch their merge fields right here. So these merge fields are going to contain you know, events like that. So that's one way we could do it. We could also use our events API, which is up here. And what this is any type of thing they do. So this could include something being sent to them. This could include opening up a web page. We could add an event there. So there's a couple of different ways we could solve that. Most of which are using this API. But John, I think as those emails and SMS are fired, I think it'll appear in their contact feed if I'm not mistaken. So I think at a minimum you may have it there as well, right?
I'm not sure if it shows up in the contact feed in Mailchimp.
Gotcha. Okay, okay. If it's sent via the transactional API, that makes sense. So, like John said, not the easiest route, but Holly, I think what you could do is you could make one of these API calls upon getting that webhook. So something fires, get this, make a call to Mailchimp, and we should have plenty of examples on making these calls.
And to that point, too, one of our longer term projects here is to help get more of Mandrill's reporting data into Mailchimp. And
Hmm.
so the idea is eventually we hope that you can see like the entire life cycle of a contact, right? Like they're sent marketing messages, they're sent transactional message, you see it all in one place. And
Yeah.
right now, because those are two distinct, totally separate UIs, two totally separate APIs, everything reporting is all totally separate, and connecting those two is not super easy.
Yeah,
So we're
absolutely.
working
But we are very proud of the Mandrill API. I think it's pretty straightforward, and hopefully you all love using it. So we'd love to hear your thoughts. Are there any other burning questions here, though? I know this was kind of a fast overview of where we're at, but we're super excited to keep investing in this, and you know, happy to answer any more questions you'll have. Well, if that's it, we're kind of at 9:30. I think we'd slide till 9:45, but definitely happy to give you all a few minutes back in your day. And we'll my email, you can find myself and John probably on LinkedIn, but our emails are first underscore last name at intuit.com if you want to give us any feedback or let us know any questions you didn't want to ask here. And then like we said, we'll probably send out another office hours next month. Feel free to register, leave a few comments if you're like, hey, can you please address X, Y, and Z? We would be more than happy to do that. But we're really grateful for your time this morning and so happy that you could join. Oh, it looks like one more question. Can you go through the new UI? Yeah, sure. Um,
take back the screen share here again and just
yeah, of
show
course.
So yeah, so what I was going through before is showing off some of the new UI. But it's hard to show it off when there's not like a side by side comparison of the old UI. But everything you're looking at here is the newly, like I said, it's not that we moved around a ton of pieces or rebuilt a ton of functionality of the site. It's really more that it kind of has a better look and feel and is a little bit more responsive in some places. So mainly what you're looking at here is the new UI. We have like the sort of look and feel of Mailchimp that wasn't there before. It was a little bit kind of dimmer and older looking. Um, so everything here that you're looking at is kind of the new. Like I said, the big difference is where we kind of surface some of the immediate like feedback and help. Um, we had like a tray that you could pull out on the side here before, and that's no longer there. You click on the tab, you find your other sort of tabs at the top nav there. But otherwise, functionality wise, everything is exactly in the same place and everything functions exactly the same as it did before. It's definitely just much more of a refresh than it is like a complete reimagining or rebuild or anything like that.
Ah, Tad, love that. That's great to hear. Excited to see the attention to the transactional API. Yeah, yeah, we are too. I think, John, we'd had a few. I forgot about our little comments we'd had in the registrations. So somebody had mentioned inbound, maybe why would I want to use that? So could you just quickly show inbound and maybe touch on why somebody would want to use this?
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, inbound is only for email. We're working on inbound for SMS as well. I mentioned before that we do process stop events. So if a recipient for your SMS replies with stop, we opt them out of all your future SMS messaging. But for email, you can actually set up and process inbound replies. So the way we do this is you set up a domain. So in this case, we just have some dummy domains here, but you can set up whatever your domain is. Usually you want to have a subdomain like inbound.mailchimp.com or whatever your domain is. And then we have setup instructions here where you basically just set up an MX record in your domain's wherever you registered your domain. So you set up an MX record that points any incoming email to our servers. So this is like your user ID and our servers. And once these MX records are set up, anything that's sent to that domain will route to our servers, and then we send it to you like a webhook. Not like a webhook. It is a webhook. So once you have a domain set up, you then set up some routes, and those routes will look like yeah, okay, yeah. So you would set up a route here, and you say everything that's sent to, you know, post at blah.com would go to this specific webhook URL. Everything sent to, if you wanted to do all of them, you could use a catch-all, a wildcard here, and then it would go to that webhook URL. And then once you're in your URL, once you're in your webhooks page, you would see your inbound URLs that you saved. So any messages coming in to that domain, to those routes, will be posted to a webhook URL that you choose. Otherwise, if you already have some sort of inbound forwarding, like Gmail offers like limited inbound forwarding for free, other places offer it for free, then that can handle it for you. Like that's already they set up the MX records for your domain, and then that's all forwarded. But this is just a way to have webhooks set up. Really great for ones that for domains that you might not have inbound set up for. And also cool because we offer it for free as part of your Mandrill account, and you can basically, I think there might be limitations on how many you can receive, but it's in like the tens of thousands per hour or something like that. So like webhook events can be fired at you frequently if you're receiving a lot of email. And like I said, we will have inbound processing for SMS soon as well.
Amazing. Any last thoughts here? You've all been amazing, great questions. Okay, well, the conversation doesn't have to end here, so feel free to shoot us an email or join us next month at our next office hours. Post on the GitHub, use the help button on transactional API. So a lot of places for you to reach out and get some support. We're really excited for you all to use this and check out the SMS. Next month, we'll try to demo maybe SMS API calls live or something like that. So whatever else would be helpful, don't be afraid to let us know. Otherwise, John, you were amazing today. Thank you so much for walking us through all of that.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
Yeah. All right. Hey, hope everybody has a great rest of the day.